Welcome back. Lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Also on the KDUS AM 1060 app. Make sure you download that today. Your opportunity to take the station with you on the go. You can take the lunch break with you wherever you may be. You can also listen online. You can also catch the video version of the show. KDUS AM 1060 on YouTube. There's a lot of basketball going on in the chat right now. Rightfully so. We're having a Suns-related show, but we are deep in the basketball weeds. We're talking Raptors. We're talking potential trade targets for the Suns. It is the wild, wild west in the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube chat in the best possible way. So another way for you to hop on board with us over there. I said in the tease, Matt Ishbia is putting everything on the line with this move and the moves that are coming. Matt Ishbia is saying to you that he knows better. He's telling you that he knows what is best for this basketball team, more than you do. That what you've seen through 42 games this season is not really a true indicator of what this team is capable of. And that he thinks the way out is to dig further and further. He doesn't see it the way I see it and the way I think some of you see it, that this is a failed experiment. Matt Ishbia is quadrupling down, although I don't even think that applies even more. I don't even know what's after that. But Matt Ishbia is putting his reputation as the owner of the Phoenix Suns on the line here. And I said it a couple of weeks ago. It bears a reminder now. It's easy to be the owner when you first get to town and you make the big splashes. It's hard to be the owner when adversity comes. It's easy to have everybody on your side when you, on the first day that you take over as the owner of the Phoenix Suns, you push the Kevin Durant deal over the finish line. It's easy in that first offseason, you make another big splash for Bradley Beal. It's easy to generate fan support. It's easy to be viewed as the new guy that's doing things the right way because you're doing them differently than the last guy that was in charge was doing them. It's easy. It's difficult when adversity comes. It's difficult when you have to make tough but logical, reasonable, rational decisions. This is an irrational decision. I don't know how you can watch the basketball product that is on the floor right now and say what Matt Ishbia did yesterday and what this team is going to continue to do over the next couple of weeks ahead of the February 6th trade deadline is a rational thought process. They have a 5.6% chance of making the playoffs according to Pro Basketball Reference. 5.6. Less than a 6% chance of making the playoffs. And this owner said, I'm willing to take that 6% bet. That's just to make the playoffs. That's not to win a title. And by trading for Jimmy Butler and by making the moves that this team is going to make over the coming weeks, it is championship or bust. There is nothing else. If we get to the end of the road and this team doesn't win a championship, it is an abject failure. Non-negotiable. If we get 3 years down the road and this team isn't hoisting up the Larry O'Brien trophy as NBA champions, and I'm here to tell you, I don't think it's going to happen. If they don't, they would have wasted 5 to 7 years, and it will take another 5 to 7 years to dig out of it. The Phoenix Suns, as of today, do not control their own first-round pick for the next 7 NBA drafts. 7. Meaning they are always going to pick towards the back. They are always going to pick towards the end of the first round with all of these pick swaps. They are never going to see it through if they have a bad year over the next 7. That pick is always going to go someplace else. Somebody else is going to reap the benefit of that. So you're never going to be able to land that generational prospect. You're never going to be able to land a top young star to build your next core around. So if you don't win a championship, you would have wasted the last, 2.5 seasons? The next 2.5 seasons, potentially, at a minimum. And then the next 5 to 7 to dig yourself out of this mess. That is the roll of the dice that Matt Ishbia is taking. And I want to compare Matt Ishbia to another team. And this might be against everything that you believe in as an Arizona sports fan today. But I'm going to make a comparison to the LA Dodgers. Just bear with me. The LA Dodgers are pushing the envelope. The LA Dodgers are going to run the highest payroll they've ever run. It might be the highest payroll in the history of the sport, in the history of professional sports. And they're signing free agent after free agent, player after player, superstar after superstar, and they don't care. So much so that you have other people in the game, well-respected, saying that the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Matt Ishbia is going to have a $168 projected million tax bill. Matt Ishbia is a second apron team with the Phoenix Suns. Matt Ishbia has brought in big money superstar after big money superstar and is going to continue to bring in big money superstar after big money superstar in his pursuit to winning a championship. He is, on paper, exactly what you want in an owner. And yet nobody's talking about Matt Ishbia as ruining basketball. At least not in the way they're talking about the Dodgers buying a championship and ruining baseball in that way. There are some people that I think are tired of the Phoenix Suns. Bill Simmons talked about this a couple of weeks ago on his podcast. What's the difference? The difference is everybody looks at what the Dodgers are doing and they go, that's smart. You got a 23-year-old starter in Roki Sasaki. You got the best two relievers on the market in Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates. Last year, you signed two megastars in Shohei Ohtani and Yoshiomu Yamamoto, and you got better at key positions. People look at Matt Ishbia, and they see Bradley Beal, and they see Kevin Durant, and now they're going to see Jimmy Butler. And they view Matt Ishbia, and they say, you're not buying a championship. You're trying to, but you're not. Because you're not running this team the way it's supposed to be run. You're not making the moves that are putting this team closer to winning a championship. 5.6% chance to make the playoffs. And Matt Ishbia is going to potentially set this team back a decade in order to see that through. Because don't forget, next year, Kevin Durant's a year older. Jimmy Butler is a year older. Devin Booker is a year older. It doesn't get easier to win a championship as these players age. It doesn't get easier to go through the Western Conference as the other teams around you get better. It doesn't get easier. The easiest it's going to be is this year. The easiest it was going to be was last year. And the further and further down this rabbit hole Matt Ishbia chooses to take the Phoenix Suns, and he has taken them on the full ride, the harder and harder it gets. The Suns told you yesterday they know better. The Suns told you yesterday that what you're watching isn't indicative of a team that is a failed experiment. And yet the group, the owner, the front office that put what you saw in Cleveland a couple days ago on the floor, what you saw against Memphis, what you've seen for 42 games this year, that have put that team on the floor, that has led to this. So they are part of the problem. They put together this team that has failed up until this point. And they want you to believe that, no, this time we've got the solution. This time we've got the answer. I know we thought we had the answer last time, but we're wrong. This time, though, this is the move. These are the moves that we need to make. You become an unreliable narrator. You become the boy who cried wolf. You no longer are a trustworthy source. You are not somebody that people are going to look at and say they know what they're doing. In fact, the Phoenix Suns right now are in some ways the laughingstock of the NBA. There are people that are around the NBA, just on social media, NBA fans that are pointing at the Phoenix Suns and going, what are you doing? You are the only team that is interested in paying Jimmy Butler that contract. You are the only team that is viewing this experiment and saying, oh, no, it hasn't failed. We just made a wrong decision. It's okay. We'll just keep doing it. You're the only ones. Nobody else is pointing in the direction that you want to point to? Nobody. I can't find a single person in this building. I can't find a single Suns fan that I know that is excited about what the Suns did yesterday. But they are going to roll the dice. And Matt Ishbia is putting everything on the line. Because if this fails, and it can go south in a hurry, Matt Ishbia is not going to be this beloved owner that he was the moment he got here and traded for Kevin Durant. And we are already on that slippery slope. It's one thing to have an owner that's willing to invest, that is willing to spend, that is willing to pay the luxury tax bill that Matt Ishbia is going to pay. That's one thing. It's another thing to do all of those things and them not work, and to continue to dig the hole deeper and deeper and deeper.